you have got to at least have a basic understanding of investing. And like learning any new skill, reading books is the best place to start.
Knowledge.
I remember when I caught the learn about investing bug for myself, I read so many books trying to figure this stuff out. I studied over 300 hours of finance material to pass the CFA exams. And honestly, a lot of it was junk. Most of the investing principles you'll need in life can be learned by reading just 10 books. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you my top 10 books for beginning investors to read to get you on the fast track to becoming a savvy investor and feeling like this guy coming up. What's up, it's Red. If you're new here, welcome to the channel where we discuss the best strategies for becoming wealthy, making smarter decisions, and learning new things so that you can get this area of your life handled. So if those are areas you want to improve on, then consider subscribing to the channel. I've spent the past 10 years or so reading tons of books on this stuff, digging deep, trying to understand, and I want to be a free resource for you to learn high quality information. Also, I know some of you may be in a hurry, so you can find links to the books and a summary of the video in the description below. So without further ado, let's get into my list of the top 10 investing books for beginners. Number 10, The Wall Street Journal Complete Money and Investing Guidebook by Dave Kansas. I couldn't make this list without including this book because it was the first investing book I ever read, and this is the book that really got me hooked on learning finance and investing. I remember I first discovered this book about 10 years ago, back when I was a freshman in college. Man, I'm getting old. But anyway, it was in the bathroom of one of my friend's house, and I remember I was sitting there in the bathroom reading this book for like half an hour. Everyone was wondering where I was. I was so captivated by it that I think I even had thoughts like, maybe I should just take it. No one will know. Yes, I was contemplating committing thievery. That's how fascinated I was with this book. But anyway, this book will give you a good comprehensive introduction to the entire world of Wall Street and investing. This is a great one to start with if you know literally nothing about investing and you want to get your feet wet. And obviously something about this book really captivated me. So if you're interested in learning about money and financial markets, I think it may do the same for you. Moving on, number 9 on the list is One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch. Peter Lynch is one of the best mutual fund managers of all time who absolutely crushed it in the 80s. His mutual fund basically outperformed everyone and he became a Wall Street legend. I think this is a great book for beginners because he talks about how ordinary people can use what they already know to make money in the stock market. And if you combine that with some basic financial statement analysis, you can find some great long-term investment opportunities. Not only that, but you will also add the word bagger as a new word in your working vocabulary. A bagger is just basically how many times you multiplied your money. So if you made 5 times your money on Facebook stock, then you made a 5-bagger on Facebook. Congratulations. 2 to 5 bagger. Nice. All right, next up, number 8, Warren Buffett Accounting. I love how the authors of this book take something so traditionally boring like accounting and make it fun and easy to understand. This book was written from an investor's perspective, so they won't teach you any technical accounting jargon that you don't need to know. You will also learn some basic investing principles like smashing the like button and how Warren Buffett thinks about making investments that I think can help bring any newbie investor up to speed. All right, number 7, The Dhandho Investor by Monish Pabrai. I hope I'm saying that right, but The Dhandho Investor is one of my favorite and I think most underrated investing books. This book is written by Monish Pabrai, who has a stellar track record as a hedge fund manager. One reason I love this book is because he compares his investing strategy with a story of how an Indian family, the Patels, became extraordinarily wealthy by owning motels and other simple businesses as immigrants to America. He simplifies his investing strategy into some basic principles he calls the Dhandho framework that anyone can understand. Some of the tenets of this investing strategy are things like invest in simple, low-risk businesses that you understand and at times when the industry is under distress. He also talks about how he thinks about selling investments, which I found to be particularly insightful. So check this one out. I don't hear it talked about that often and it's easy to understand and just filled with investing wisdom. Okay, number 6. Fooled by Randomness by Nassim Taleb. I hesitated to include this one on a beginner's list because I think Taleb can be a bit intellectual at times, but the wisdom in this book is, I think, the most common error that new investors make. Even a lot of experienced investors make this mistake, and if you're watching my videos, I'm not gonna let you get away with it. Being fooled by randomness is essentially tricking yourself into thinking you're good at something when in reality you just got lucky. And it's a lot easier to trick yourself in this way than you may think. Say you bought a stock and it went up. Naturally you think, man, I'm smart, this is easy. I should have bet more, I'm gonna bet more next time. But you're being fooled by randomness. Your mind will play tricks on you into making you believe stuff that you want to be true. Once you start understanding the depth of this concept, you will be blown away at how many people get this wrong. 99% of the population is fooled by randomness every day, myself included. I have to really watch out for this. Since this is a harder one to get through, one book hack that I like to use is to get both the audiobook and the physical book. And what you do is you listen to the audiobook while you're reading the physical book. This is a helpful strategy because the audiobook can help you push through the hard parts of the book, and the physical book helps you pay attention to what's being said without just dozing off listening to an audiobook. So this is one little secret that I like to use to crush hard books. All right, number 5, The Little Book That Beats the Market by Joel Greenblatt. This is definitely one of my favorite investing books. It's a really short read. You could easily read this in just a couple hours. And I actually think Joel Greenblatt might be my favorite investor to learn from. He is just awesome. And in this book, he imparts his wisdom on you. He teaches you everything that distinguishes a good business from a bad business and how you can go about valuing companies in a simple and easy to understand way. Then he shows you a formula you can use to beat the market that only uses 2 variables to rank stocks. And even if you don't want to use his magic formula, this book is still filled with tons of other investing gems that will be helpful to you. I also found some of Joel's writing to be hilarious, so that helps keep it entertaining. Overall, this book is well worth the money and the brief time investment it takes to read. All right, number 4, The Warren Buffett Portfolio by Robert Hagstrom. Obviously, everyone knows Warren Buffett. He's the most famous investor ever, and in this book, you get an inside look at how he thinks about investing. The wisdom in this book is timeless, and I personally think this is the best intro to Warren Buffett book that's out there. There's some other really good ones too, but in this one, you'll learn about Warren Buffett's investing strategy, how he built his wealth, and why he disagrees with most finance professors on the right way to invest. Also, if you're into math or stats, there are some simple ways he shows to apply stats to investing to limit your risk and make sure you're making good bets. So pick up this book if you're interested in learning about Warren Buffett and how you can apply his crazy successful investing strategy to your own investment. All right, number 3, Unshakeable by Tony Robbins. You know, I read this book expecting it to be just a bunch of fluff, but honestly, I was thoroughly impressed by it. This is a really good book. It's not that Tony is saying anything here that hasn't already been said or written about before, but it's communicated in such a clear way. Tony is an amazing communicator, and by reading this book, you will clearly understand some of the most important concepts in investing. This book is great because one of the biggest enemies to investment returns is you. And Tony helps put your emotions at ease and makes you comfortable about all the crazy ups and downs of the market so that you can focus on the long term. One small caveat, I would skip over pages 130 to 137. No big deal, but I just found some wrong information in there. But I don't want that to take away from the rest of this book. The rest of this book is great, a seriously good book, and very enjoyable to read. There are some parts that are so beautifully communicated and hilarious. I wish I would have read this book earlier, so pick this one up if you don't have it already. Okay, number 2, The Most Important Thing by Howard Marks. This book is so good, I almost made it number 1. Howard Marks is an extremely successful investor who runs Oak Tree Capital. And in this book, Howard Marks will tell you the most important thing for investing success. The joke is that he always catches himself saying the most important thing in investing is lots of different things. Like, the most important thing is understanding risk, or the most important thing is knowing what you don't know. And so he took all of his most important things and distilled them into 20 investing principles. This is a great book for beginners and even experienced investors to learn from. And honestly, I've probably read this book like 4 times. It's that good. And this is another one where the audiobook is great. So pick this one up to learn all the most important things about investing. And lastly, drum roll. Number 1, the best investing book for beginners, Pitch the Perfect Investment. I'm actually a little mad about this book. It came out in 2017, which was a few years after I graduated college. And man, I wish I would have had this book earlier. This book takes the frame of teaching you everything required to successfully pitch an investment to someone. And it's not just that, there's tons of background finance stuff. You will learn so much from this book. Honestly, you could just read this one book and you would be up there with any finance person you know in terms of how to make money in the stock market. I think this might be overall my favorite investing book ever produced. Granted, it is a little on the advanced side in terms of beginner books, but I think it's worth it to push through and attempt to understand. And even if you wanted to take it a step further and make a career out of doing something in the financial industry, you seriously could do that by understanding everything in this book. Another thing I love is that everything is explained in a concise and fun way. It has cartoon pictures in it and a bunch of stories and little side notes that keep it interesting. And I'll just add that my favorite part of the book is when they go into the science of how to present a strong argument and how to know when you're right and when you're BSing yourself and how to put together a strong pitch to convince someone of something. This will not only help you be a better investor, but you can get really good at pitching anyone on anything. So for example, at any job, you probably would do a lot better if you could convince someone to actually implement your ideas, and this will even help you there. It's not a super easy read, but if you take your time with it, it teaches difficult concepts in a simple and fun way, which are always my favorite type of content to consume. And by the end of it, you'll be ready to be the next Bud Fox and pitch an investment to Gordon Gekko or be the next Jordan Belfort.
Sell me this pen.
So that's it. Those are my top 10 recommended books for beginners to read to start you on your path to investing glory. I've personally found reading good books to be the best way to learn anything new. And if you read and actually understand everything in these 10 books, you will understand finance and investing better than 99% of the population. So question of the day, what are some great investing books you've read? Was there a book I left off this list that you really loved? Comment your favorite investing books below. Also, if there's any questions you have or anything you're interested in learning, comment that below too. I'll do my best to help you out and reply to your comment. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.